What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV. I hope you're all keeping very, very well indeed. In today's video, we're going to be looking ahead to game week 10. Of course, we've had the first quarter of fixtures played. Everyone has played each other pretty much. A couple of cancelled games here and there, but everyone has kind of got a taste for the league so far. And we're kind of seeing how the league is panning out a little bit. Still obviously plenty of time to go. But I'm joined once again to look ahead to this week's games with Luke Jennings. Luke, how are you, man?
Oh, good, Ross. Thanks for having me back
A
on.
couple of cracking games in store this weekend. Obviously, kind of Shamrock Rovers playing Sligo. Obviously, look to bounce back. We've Shells and BOHS, North Dublin Derby. The only thing I was thinking about it, like these like rolling around again and playing the same teams again. It's kind of like I wish there was even 12 teams in the league, so you kind of play each other three times, like the SBL even, and then it breaks down into six and
Yeah.
six or something. Just something to kind of make it feel a little bit fresher at times or something, because we played BOHS a few weeks ago, like.
I know, yeah, that's the kind of unfortunate. Like, obviously, the argument was that the 12-team league was a bit more diluted player-wise and obviously full-time football-wise. But
Yeah,
moments like this, you're like, Jesus, like I was only looking there, and I think Dundalk are playing Bows twice in the next 2 weeks. Like it's like
yeah.
there's like a rescheduled game, so like that sort of stuff was a bit like right, it's getting a bit repetitive. But yeah, it'd be fantastic if we did similar to what the SPL did. That would be perfect. And obviously with the new additions of like Mayo FC and Kerry coming in last year, like you
Yeah.
never know the scope,
And
you know.
Cork are in the first division there, full time. So I draw will
Yeah.
be going full time next year. So that's 11. Like so, yeah. I think it needs something that needs to be looked at hopefully in the coming years
Sure.
because I think it would help the league a little bit. But we'll jump straight into the games this weekend. Drogheda play host to Derry City. Now Drogheda, of course, a 2-2 draw with Shelburne. We'll touch on that in a second. Derry, of course, put the final nail in Stephen O'Donnell's coffin. We touched on that in a recent video. Make sure to go check that out. But yeah, they beat Dundalk 4-1 to kind of get back on track themselves. We'll kind of maybe touching on Drogheda. Obviously, I think they've had three draws from the last four games. And listening to Kevin Doherty after the game, he kind of cut a frustrated figure because it's maybe not as much points as they probably deserve.
Yeah, they were. Well, you could speak better than I would. You were watching that game against Shells. Like, how did they get
Mm.
on? What did you make of
They,
it?
it was, yeah, it was. They probably did. I think a draw was maybe a fair result. They frustrated Shells. Shells didn't really play well, to be honest. Especially second half, they're kind of panicking to get that equal. They go 2-1 down again, and they're kind of panicking to get goals and kind of maybe pumping it long when they didn't need to exactly. So, but Drogheda, I think all credit to them. It's a good result. Not many teams have gotten points off Shells this season, so it's definitely a solid result for them. Um, so yeah, I think Drogheda. I think obviously it's so tight down there and so competitive and that they probably will be battling for that ninth spot, but they have the players there to dig them out. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Evan Weir is phenomenal from free kicks. Like he seems to be
Crack.
like.
That was a deflection, to be fair. Sean Boyd
I
sticking
know.
his
Well,
knob
that's
on it. Like,
it's like his third one of the season. Like we're only eight
yeah.
games in. And it's like the League of Ireland David Beckham.
Yeah, yeah. He's a good player. He's a very good player.
He's a good player. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Toronto, like that's we were complaining about Francis Pro not getting on the score sheet for them, but like they've goals all over their team, and that's a good thing, you know. And
Yeah,
they're a good fight. Like up in United Park, they're always going to give anyone a game. Like Derry,
yeah.
off the back of a great result against Dundalk, like a few cracking goals, like Bill Patching's goal stood out.
Cracker.
They're back motoring now, back in second. So I'd probably
Mhm.
fancy Derry in this one just about. I'm gonna go 3-2 Derry.
3-2 there. Plenty of goals, yeah. I'll probably lean towards Derry win. They probably will get up and running again. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. They're kind of closing that gap ever so slightly with Shells. Down to 6 points now. I think Derry will be probably in the title mix towards the end of the season, as they should be, to be fair, with the money they've spent. Yeah, I'll back a Derry win there as well. I go 2-1 to Derry. But yeah, as you said, it'd be a tough game. It'd be very, very tight. Next up, we do have managerless. Dundalk, obviously, we kind of touched on it. Liam Burns and Brian Gartland coming in there to take the reins for this game against St. Pat's. Obviously, the Stephen O'Donnell derby, no more, really. How did you see this one going down?
Um, yeah, Dundalk are obviously in dire straits right now. Like a really poor result up in Derry. It's getting to the stage now where they're starting to get cut adrift at the bottom of the league. Like they're 7 points off eighth. It's
Yeah,
not ideal. Obviously Liam Burns and Brian Gartner coming in. You hope that they'd spark a reaction similar to the way that Derek Pender sparked a reaction for Bows when they got their result against Derry.
yeah.
I don't know. Pats against Rovers. I was watching the game. They weren't. They won the game in 15 minutes essentially. They took their chances. Like it was a really kind of good turnover just after halftime to win the game against Rovers, and they defended well and tactically. John Daly adjusted really well. So I'm probably going to go. Yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 Pats here. I think they'll just have too much for Dundalk. What do you
Yeah,
think?
Pat's starting to get modern a little bit. Obviously, this would be a good, really good opportunity to get 3 wins on the spin. Maybe it's not the right time to play in Dundalk. They might be looking, might get a reaction out of them. Yeah, Pat, what you got 3-1, Pat, was it?
2-0 Pats.
2-0, Pat, sorry. Don't mind 2-0. Yeah, maybe I'll go 1-0 Pats. I think Dundalk might just make it a fight. But I think Pats will have enough quality and obviously they've been in decent form as of late and they have goals on the side. I think that they'll nick that one. 1-0 at Oriel Park. Next up, we do have Waterford against Galway, the two newly promoted sides going head to head here. Obviously frustrating for Galway that their game with Sligo was called off. Bit of a farcical situation. I think it was on the day. A lot of Galway fans I saw on Twitter were kind of on the bus on the way to the game. I know you had Irish footy vlogs that actually travelled to Sligo to film a vlog as well, and obviously cancelled. So
Difficult.
yeah, nightmare situation. Um, they obviously go out traveling to Waterford. This is a really tough game to pick, isn't it? These two are kind of hard to know at the best of times, really, in terms of how the results are going to pan out because they're, as you'd expect, maybe inconsistent at times, but they're both getting results. Waterford obviously got a fantastic win away at Bohemians, which really laid down a marker for them. So yeah, this is a tough game to call.
Yeah, Paul Jobland on the score sheet again, like a
Cracking
fantastic
finish.
sign. Yeah, great finish, and like obviously the gap that Ronan Coughlin left going to Fleetwood has been filled by Podge so far. So fair
Yeah.
play to him. And Waterford after a poor week, you could arguably say three poor results. They're back kind of where they want to be, kind of 1 point behind Rovers in sixth place. So yeah, on paper you'd probably fancy Waterford, but I'm just going to tap into the fact that Galway and Waterford in the first division last season, the way that Galway won that league, and even when they played each other earlier on in the season, like Galway were well worth their money. So I'm probably gonna go for a draw here. I'll say 1-1.
What score was that game again in the first round? Actually, do you remember?
It was a
Partial.
draw.
It was a
Yeah.
draw, I think,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, no, Galway 1-2-1.
2-1 was it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You went for the draw, did you?
I went for a draw.
1-1. Yeah, draw is definitely the safest shout. I'd say it's a good
Mm,
shout, but I fancy Waterford just to keep that bit of momentum going.
yeah,
I do, yeah. Almond, I think if he gets chances, he's going to take them. He looked as a clinical finish against BOHS, and they do look both sides look very solid defensively, and I could see both sides potentially actually staying up. To be fair to them,
yeah.
because they
I'd
both
agree with
made a
that.
really good, given a really good account of themselves in that first quarter of the season. So impressive stuff from them. Two good managers, experienced managers as well. So I'll go with Waterford to just nick it with a little bit more quality and the home factor as well. Maybe Galway might be a little bit rusty after not playing a game for a little while as well. So I'll go for a Waterford 1-0 win there. Next up we do have Shelburne against Bohemians, the game of the weekend, the North Dublin derby. Obviously kind of last couple of weeks ago Shelburne did go to Dalymount Park and beat Declan Devine's side at the time 2-1, 2-0, 2-0. 2-0 and got the clean sheet there. Shells have been a little bit obviously started the season fantastically and you can have no complaints at all. 6 points clear at the top of the league, but I think it's two draws on the spin now. Um maybe slowing down a touch.
Yeah, it's a long season. Like it's very hard even at this stage to read into things. Like
Mm,
the way you need to look at it is like you are still getting points on the board and these are 6 points clear. Like, and I imagine saying that at the start of the season, you know. So
yeah,
I think Ian Duff will be touching on that to his players if there's a bit of complacency, not even complacency, but a bit of self doubt coming into the camp. Bows, on the other hand, they're just a mixed bag, aren't they? Like
yeah.
you look at the Waterford game, which a game you fancy them get something out of, and they just didn't take their chances. They conceded that, which was a good goal by Paul Jamin, but still to lose 1-0, kind of Alan Reynolds would not have wanted that at all. So
No.
yeah, I'm gonna go for a Shells win here. I think Shells will win this one 3-1.
3-1 Shells, yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
fantastic win to get back in the win column. Yeah, for Duff, I think it's been a case of kind of like last season, turning defeats from the first year into draws through a lot of games. Now this season's kind of the games you were drawn, maybe turning into narrow wins and maybe games would have lost to into draws. It's a Derry game, maybe you would have lost last season or something, kind of those ones. So constantly getting points to the board, you can have no complaints. Obviously, the only unbeaten side in the league so far this season, which is a great achievement from Duff in itself. So yeah, you definitely fancy Shells in this one. I think we'd be amiss not to mention the situation that happened at Drogheda. Obviously terrible scenes there from a Shells fan. By all accounts, was kind of a young kid, so you don't know how kind of hard to go in until all the kind of details come out, I guess. But yeah, it's inexcusable, and Duff was kind of rightly fuming at post game because it takes away from what was a really, really good game. And it puts the league in a bad light once again, doesn't it, really, in terms of the kind of pyro situation?
Yeah, in a time in which the fans are campaigning for it to enhance the atmosphere, something like that happens and completely like one step forward, two steps back. Like it's unacceptable. And if we want to become a fully professional league and be respected, not just in Ireland but abroad, that sort of stuff can't happen. And as you said, it was a young lad who did it, unacceptable. But like there needs to be a marker put down so this doesn't happen again because there's too many times it's happened. Even Duffer came out and touched on it across the league, like sure the Rovers Waterford game two few years back when a player got struck with a firework. Like these are just things that don't happen
Yeah,
over
Keen
and
Burn
really.
earlier in the season as well.
Yeah, Keenburn as well. Yeah, there's multiple incidents you can reference. So yeah, it's just as a league, it's not a Shelburne problem. It's a League of Ireland problem, and we
Yeah.
just we need to come together and just make sure that we enhance the match day experience and make it a safe experience first and foremost.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just something that's going to affect the club. I think it'll probably. I don't think it's come out just yet as we're filming this, but the ramifications I think for BOHS were a substantial fine for the club and no away support gone to the game in Drogheda, which they actually lost, and not that it was down to not having no fans there, but definitely makes a huge difference. And I think it's the Galway game away from
Yeah.
home where it's a great. You're going to Galway for the first time in a while. They're back in the Premier Division. It's a great away day for fans, and that's been taken away. So more than likely which is a huge shame, just from the actions of one person. So, massive blow, and I guess you kind of have to do that as the league has to lay down that market. If they set the precedent, with the Bohemians punishment, so they have to back that up. Really, it would be a miss to not kind of do something similar for Shells. But yeah, it's just a shame. It's a huge shame. And yeah, it's just something I've always been kind of torn on the pyro debate because it does contribute so much to the atmosphere, and it's great. You see the promo videos that the league even puts up at times and stuff,
Yeah.
and it looks fantastic and everything, and
Yeah.
it's great for the atmosphere when used in a safe and correct way. But unfortunately, as you touched on, it's the League of Ireland problems. There's going to be a couple of idiots in every fan base that start throwing things, and I think the FEI probably have no choice but to ban it because I think health and safety has to come first, and it's hard to argue with that point anymore. I don't. It's frustrating, but it's hard to argue.
Yeah, for sure. I suppose there'd be nothing worse if something really bad happened and somebody
Exactly. Yeah.
got badly hurt or even killed. Like it'd be a really bad black market for our league, and something like that can't happen. Obviously, we want it to be around, but we need the facilities, we need the right circumstances for it to be around. So sure, look, hopefully in the future it develops, but as of right now, it's yeah, this is not a good one.
No, no. Back to the game anyway. Sorry. So Shells Bows. I'll back Shells to win this one. I think it'll be a narrow once again. Kind of been the tone for Shells. I think they'll win this one 2-1. They might just Bows might just nick one, but I think Shells should hopefully have enough to get over the line. Hopefully, the kind of illness and viruses that were in the camp are kind of fully gone now, and they should be good to round to go. Then the final game of the weekend, we do have Shamrock Rovers later kickoff 8 o'clock against Sligo at the Tallaght Stadium. Obviously, Rovers looked like they were kind of turning a corner. They took the lead against St. Patrick's Athletic on Friday night. Obviously, ended up losing that game 2-1, facing the Sligo side, who obviously, as we kind of touched on earlier, that game with Galway was called off. So they've had a little bit of time to rest and recoup after a couple of poor defeats. But overall, it's been a decent season for them. How you feeling ahead of this one?
Yes, Sligo are best placed going into this one. Obviously, 2 weeks rest. They kind of have a few knocks after that Pats game, a poor performance by all accounts. So they'll be happy to have that big long preparation.
Mm.
Obviously, it's not ideal getting last weekend's game called off, but they'll be ready to come up and give us a good game. And in relation to Shamrock Rovers, it was the first half was the best half in which I've seen Rovers play this season. We should have been out of sight. Dylan Watts to crossbar at 1-0. And it's just 10 minutes of madness in the second half, which cost us, and it's just unacceptable. Bradley touching it after the game, it's just not good enough. If we want to be challenging the likes of yourselves and Derry, ooh, that can't happen, and it's so
Yeah.
unlike us, because as you said, we're
Mm.
motoring 3 wins in a row. So look, it is what it is. It's done now. I think we're going to get back to winning ways this Friday. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Rovers win.
Yeah, yeah, I think you will too. It's like obviously, yeah, as you said, I think they will be grateful for the break. Obviously, we kind of touched on last week. Obviously, McGinty, I think, had a bit of a concussion. Pineacker, Nando at the back as well. He suffered ribs, so he might. I'm not sure if he's back or not yet, but I think the break for them will maybe have done them good. So I think this will be a competitive game. Sligo have players that could hurt Shamrock Rovers. I think Sligo will score here, but I think Shamrock Rovers will be too strong in the end and have enough to get through. 3-1 to Shamrock Rovers. Is my prediction. But is any word on kind of Jack Byrne coming back into the mix? Right? Is there any of these kind of lads? Are they on the way back?
Yeah, he had a calf injury before the Bows game, and it ruled him out
Hmm.
for 3 weeks. So I'm not sure if he'd be ready for this week, but it's just one of those things where like he's a month off, he's a week off, then he's out for another month. It's just it's annoying, and like Shamrock Rovers fans have kind of raised this with amongst themselves. Why do we have so many injuries? We've so many players out injured, like
Yeah,
McInnes, Ferrugia, and Byrne, and Kenny, and it's just like it's hampering our season. For we pride
yeah,
ourselves off the squad, but we're down to the bare bones. So,
yeah.
we need bodies back.
100%, 100%. But gone for a Shamrock Rovers win there to close the gap at the top of the league. There's our predictions for game week 10, guys. Get yours down in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like on it down below. It is greatly appreciated. And please do subscribe if you are new. Thanks, Ben, for tuning in, and we'll see you in a bit.